Hey, hey, can you hear me? Hey, you here. This is so cool. Oh my god, I just had this most incredible experience. Did you hear me? It was incredible. Hold on, while I shut off this nitrous induction time machine. So, I was messing around with my hot rod, and I accidentally clicked on a combination lock-like thing attached to the NOS tanks. I noticed one was set for 2014, and the other was set to 0120. I figured it was 120 in the afternoon, but hey dude, it was 120 BC. Wouldn't you know it, I was in ancient Rome. I was right in the middle of a field where Roman gladiators were being trained in Mortal Kombat. No, not the game, the real thing. These were scary looking dudes. I guess they were usually convicted criminals, slaves, or prisoners of war. Many looked like they came from the lands that Rome had conquered. There were so many gladiators. You know that Mortal Kombat was a form of public entertainment? It was like a spectator event. They played games for public entertainment in a place called the Colosseum. All the spectators were partying. They would either push them to kill each other or they would spare the fighters if there was a good match. There were so many people in there. They really fought to kill each other and to see blood. I found out I wasn't dressed right when I got there. When we think of Roman clothing, we think of togas. However, only citizens could wear them. The toga was a garment worn by male citizens of ancient Rome. Women wore stolas, a type of pleated dress. The toga was usually worn over an undergarment made from linen. So, I had to change my clothes. I tell you, the toga wasn't very comfortable. It was made of wool and so thick. There was no way I could wear it while I was working. Foreigners and slaves were forbidden from wearing these garments. And there were many slaves in ancient Rome. Instead of crowns, Roman emperors wore laurel leaves on their heads. I wouldn't be caught dead with flowers or leaves on my head now. All my friends would make fun. When the people weren't fighting, they were so busy doing other things. So glad we can lay around these days. I can't wait to get home. I actually had to help build some aqueducts, which was a system of channels and bridges to transport water for public baths and toilets. These aqueducts operated on a very simple principle. Basically, the Romans just built an extremely long canal that was taller at one end and gradually became shorter until it reached the city. They didn't bother with complicated pressure systems or pumps. They let gravity do its thing. These aqueducts siphoned water off of natural bodies of water, such as lakes and springs, and dumped the water into cisterns. They were also amazing architects and engineers, too. They built roads and walls, things we now take for granted. They took a lot of pride in their artwork and had carvings of gods and rulers and things all over for the public to see as they were walking around the town. They take the word public to a new level. I had to go to a public place to take my baths. But it was weird because people didn't go there just to clean themselves. They actually changed their clothes, exercised, swam, and they all bathed together and talked and conducted business. Slaves actually helped to clean them by cleaning off all the dirt, sweat, and oil. I guess they found it refreshing, but I was like, seriously, dude? Don't touch me. I guess they needed baths because they ate like slobs. Man, my mom would kill me. The Romans liked to enjoy their food, often lying down on a couch while eating with their hands. They occasionally used a spoon, but they would never use a knife and fork. Rich Romans liked to eat exotic food such as stork, roast parrot, and even flamingo. That just ain't fair. I am not allowed to eat in the living room, but I guess it was different for them since eating was like a party. Talk about parties. This was cool. To honor their gods, the Roman gave festivals. There were so many gods that it seemed like there was a festival almost every night. We celebrated Valentine's Day. The Romans had a festival called Lupercalia that honored Venus, the goddess of love. Venus had a son, Cupid, who went around spreading love between couples. It was considered lucky to get married or engaged during Lupercalia. For a short time, the Romans even tried to matchmake on this day by having young people pull names out of a hat to become their husband or wife. I made sure my name wasn't in any hat. Roman emperors had a great deal of power and control. They were responsible as the head of the judicial system and courts. They were the commander-in-chief of the military. Probably the most famous Roman figure was Julius Caesar. During his lifetime, he had held just about every important title in the Roman Republic, including consul, tribune of the people, high commander of the army, and high priest. He made a lot of positive changes, and the people loved Caesar. They wanted to see him in a strong position of power so that he could solve the problems of crime, hunger, unemployment, and taxes. The Roman emperors also controlled the empire's religion. Practicing their faith was also important. Christians promised that if you lived your life right, you went to heaven when you died. They also all thought they were even. I got to see the Circus Maximus, too, on my way out of town. It was huge and bigger than any sports stadium today. It held 250 to 270,000 people. The ancient Romans didn't do anything on a small scale. They used this for chariot racing. It was so neat. What a great trip! Anyone want to go for a ride?